You leave the interaction and your hands are shaking. They didn't yell, they didn't throw a punch, they didn't even use a clear insult, yet you feel hollowed out, drained of energy while you are busy trying to be polite. This damage stems from projection. You are treating a toxic person as if they share your moral operating system. You assume that if you just explain how much their words hurt, their conscience will kick in and they'll stop. Bringing empathy to a power struggle is like bringing flowers to a knife fight. You cannot heal, love, or explain your way out of a dynamic with someone who values control over connection. When you walk into a room now, you see the strings. 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote a book that terrified the world. He didn't write about how things should be. He stripped away the polite lies and exposed the brutal machinery of human nature, exactly as it is. To a toxic individual, every interaction is an extraction of resources. They are mining you for attention, emotional distress, and self-esteem to fill their own void of insignificance. Survival requires you to kill the internal nice guy or nice girl instinct. Victory in this game rests solely on self-mastery. If you are a stone, they can't eat you. Recognizing this transactional reality frees you from the trap of trying to save them. You stop playing by the rules of decency and start playing by the rules of strategy. Manipulators are constantly mapping your psyche. They poke you with subtle jabs to see exactly where you bleed. If you fear abandonment, they use the silent treatment. If you're insecure about your work, they drop a sarcastic comment in a meeting. Your first defense is aggressive silence. When a coworker makes a passive-aggressive jab, offer flat neutrality. Look at them, blink once, say, "Interesting perspective," and turn back to your work. Toxic people rely on friction. If you take away the wall they're pushing against, they fall on their face. This chart shows the behavioral pattern known as the extinction burst. When you stare into the void and give them nothing, they will panic. Their tactics will spike. They get louder and meaner because their usual control buttons have stopped working. When that spike happens, stay in the void. This is the moment you are winning. By refusing to react during their escalation, you break their conditioning loop and teach them that targeting you yields zero reward. In the hands of a toxic person, your authenticity and vulnerability are weaponized. Every shared fear or secret becomes ammunition for future manipulation. You must become a fog. You counter this with strategic ambiguity. When they pry into your life hoping for drama, feed them standard, boring answers. "I've just been busy with work." Polite, pleasant, and utterly empty. If they launch a direct attack, saying, "You're acting crazy," sidestep using verbal judo. Say, "I see why you'd think that," and leave it. You validate perception, not fact. Your lack of resistance leaves their aggression to bounce back on themselves. Letting them believe they won the argument is a small price to pay for your sanity. Prioritizing your peace over your pride is the ultimate display of power. Machiavelli warned that inflicting a light injury on an enemy only motivates revenge. If you merely annoy a toxic person, you trigger their desire for retaliation. If you must strike, the blow must be severe enough to end the threat. When they attempt public sabotage, a snide comment disguised as a joke, drag them into the light. Stop the room, look at them with clinical curiosity, and ask, "Can you explain what you meant by that?" You are stripping away the predator's camouflage. If the gaslighting moves to a professional setting, execute the documentation bomb. Stop arguing verbally. Follow every interaction with an email summary of what was stated. Presenting an undeniable paper trail moves the fight from subjective opinions to objective facts. When you present undeniable facts, you are not arguing, you are executing a checkmate. Changing the battlefield to objective consequences forces the manipulator to reassess their risk. Exposing their behavior in a format they cannot twist makes the cost of targeting you far higher than any reward they could extract. The most powerful weapon in this playbook is absence. Applying the principle of supply and demand to your life means that when your presence is always available to be a punching bag, your value is cheap. Creating absolute scarcity disrupts the manipulator's reality. If you must cut them out, execute the Machiavellian exit. Forget the myth of closure or the long emotional letter. Block their number. Change all the locks. Simply cease to exist in their world without warning or explanation. Denying them the final word robs them of their power. It leaves them haunted by a permanent question mark, while you ascend beyond their reach. These tactics may feel cold, but think of them as a surgeon's scalpel. Slicing away toxic influence is aggressive preservation for your mental state. True virtue is not found in being harmless or helpless. It is found in being a formidable person who has the capacity for ruthless boundaries, yet chooses to be kind. This Machiavellian armor serves as the ultimate protection for your empathy,